Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Sam's33 here, and welcome to another episode of Mix Up. And today we're gonna be tackling a card I've actually already talked about, and that is Archeops from Noble Victories, of course, the only Archeops in the format ever printed, really. But anyway, yeah, this is actually the second episode I ever did for Mix Up, and I know since I already did it, why do it again? Well, that's because, of course, it's a new format, and I also have the will to test the deck. Last time I didn't even test the deck, so I was just theory moning, but yeah, now I've actually tested the deck and I know how it works, and I know what its problems are, what it works with, I know what the format's like more. It's just a more thought out episode than, of course, my second one. Excuse me. So yeah, let's take a look at Archeops. So what's up with Archeops anyway? Well, it's a stage 1 with 130 HP, a grass weakness, 2 retreat cost, pretty mediocre attack, but I guess it could be used if you're running fighting energy as a last resort. And of course, a fantastic ability. States each player can't play any Pokemon from his or her hand to evolve one of his or her Pokemon. This of course is awesome. Because the Electric is obsolete without their Eels, regular Eels takes a pretty big blow too, a Dragon has a few issues, Polion doesn't have its main attacker. Some of the new decks from Boundaries Cross, like Blastoise, Dusknoir, or Vileplume, aren't too fond of it either. What's great is stage 1, so it would be pretty easy to set up. And it's got some huge HP. Some of the best non-Whalerd HP a stage 1 can ask for. What sucks is Archon. Archon is Archeops' pre-evolution, and it's a restored Pokemon. Technically, Archeops is a perfectly normal stage 1. It's Archon that's causing the problem. The only way to get Archon into play is through either Plume Fossil or Twist Mountain, both of which are luck-based. You ever wonder why this card isn't better? That's why. Both of these methods are a pain to work with. It's not that hard to get Archon out with both of those cards in the deck, but here's your problem, getting both of them into your deck as well as your Archeops line. Here's an estimate of what any Archeops deck would have for their Archeops line. 4-3 Archeops, 4 Plume Fossil, and 3 Twist Mountain. That's 14 spots. Almost a third of your deck. You'll probably end up looking more like this due to how little space you had to work with. 2 Archeops, 3 Plume Fossil, and 2 Twist Mountain. The reason Archon isn't such a high count is so it will make it more likely you'll get one off of a Plume Fossil. Here's another common scenario that will occur with the deck. You've got an Ultra Ball and a Juniper in your hand, with a Twist Mountain on the field. You don't want to waste the Ultra Ball, but if you get Tails, the Archon gets Junipered away. More Archons makes that less of an issue. The first idea I tried out was Archeops Darkrai Bukalon. Darkrai is just good and can operate just fine without evolutions. Since you aren't going to see evolutions very often, you'll probably be seeing a lot of EXs. That's where Bukalon comes in. This is a list I tried out for the deck. I added in Aerodactyl, since you're already running Twist Mountain anyways. Permanent plus power can come in handy. It gives Darkrai the power to double KO 2 Terrakions, and gives Bukalon some decent power against Pokemon that aren't EXs. Mewtwo is there to counter other Mewtwo's, and is a good first turn attacker. I tried out 3 Dark Patch for a bit and found that it really needed 4, especially since I wasn't running Sableye. The deck has tons of speed issues if you can't get enough Dark Patches. Since Darkrai needs a whopping 3 energy to attack, Bukalon also needs 3 without a double Carlos energy. Ultra Ball is the only good search card that can search out 99% of your Pokemon. Rescue Scarf can be handy since you can't have more than one Archeops out at a time, due to Archeops preventing you from evolving more. So you can't set up a backup one if your main one gets knocked out. Rescue Scarf gets back your Archeops as soon as it dies, as long as you have another Archon in play, you can cycle through them, similar to what we do with Garbodor. I wish I had room for more energy. This is all I could find space for. So how did it do in testing? Bad. Very bad. To be fair, I'm mostly using Play TCG to do my testing. I was stuck with testing against whatever I ran into. I kept running into decks that didn't use evolution. For all the evolution decks I did face, it was also terrible. They would always get their evolutions out before I could get my Archeops out. The deck struggled to function well enough to take 6 prizes at all. Archeops is just taking up too much consistency away. So what to do now? I tried out another Darkrai deck, this time with no Bukalon, but included Sableye. Bukalon wasn't really helping me, and I thought Sableye would be the key to my consistency issues. I could also spam Plume Fossils with him until I get Archons out. So here's the list I tried out. I kept in Mewtwo just in case I ran into Terrakion that would just run through me without it. I added Energy Switch just because it's so strong in Darkrai decks. I really felt how weak the deck was without it, but I only had room for 2, so I mainly relied on Sableye to get them back when I needed them. Eviolite was another card I really couldn't live without in this deck. 2 really didn't feel like enough. Whenever I had the time to use a Junk Hunt, I really couldn't waste one of those spots on Eviolite. This list also didn't work. Not even Sableye could help out the deck's consistency. I will just not get going fast enough to have a shot at game, so the next idea I had was Tornadus EX Donk. This one just used Tornadus EX to the stadium to do 60 damage on the first turn. While getting Archeops or Aerodactyl out. Once you get Archeops out, your opponent will probably have a bunch of weak pre-evolutions out for Tornadus EX to dispatch out easily. Here's the list I used for this one. I again kept Mewtwo. It's even better this time since you run DCE. Since we don't have Darkrai anymore and Archeops has 2 retreat, Switch would be needed. You can also use DCE to retreat him, but that can be quite wasteful. I have less Plume Fossil in this list since you'll probably be using Twist Mountain a lot, so you won't need as many. Energy count is 4 DCE and 8 Psychic. Since you don't really need colored energy, you might as well make it Psychic so you can use Side Drive if you really need to. How did this list turn out? It's alright. It's much greater against evolution decks, since Tornadus can just take out their evolutions for long enough for you to get an Archeops out. And Tornadus is overall just a good low maintenance attacker. Even though the last one was alright, we tried out one last idea, that being Terrakion. Terrakion is a more solid attacker than Tornadus. While Terrakion isn't as fast, the EX can accelerate energy, you have tons more options, both Terrakions as well as Stunfisk, so here's the list I tried out. I chose more of the EX since it's much better early game than the normal one. It helps accelerate energy, plus it hits for 50 for 2 rather than just 30. Not much else to say about the list, really. So how did this one fare out? Well, bad. I felt like it wasn't that bad a list, but I just wasn't running very hot when playing it. So, what do I think of Archeops? Well, I don't like it. I never knew back in my second episode how much consistency you lost, how many times Plume Fossil would fail, how many times you sit there as your opponent evolves everything on turn 2 where you get nothing. It just doesn't work. But I really just can't be bothered to test with it anymore. There might be some potential in this guy, but I'm not going to sit here and waste my time probably just confirming everything you've already said. We've got a new set coming out in 2 weeks, and I really just don't have the time to test this guy. Sorry. Might be something in there, but I really can't be bothered about that.
So that's gonna do it for today's episode. Remember to like and dislike and whatever, and comment, and do all those things that make me happy. Yeah. Remember, guys, Boundaries Cross is coming out on the 7th, and the pre-releases are this weekend. It's like tomorrow. It's like 29th and 28th, I think. So yeah, I'll definitely be going to a pre-release, like I always do. They're definitely a really fun event for me. But yeah. And it's also, just since I'm not going to be making an episode until, this is the last episode I'm going to be making before then. Halloween is coming up, of course, so I wish you all a happy holiday. I'm not going to be doing any specials for anything. Yeah. So yeah, Archeops, not exactly the best card, but yeah, at least we finally know that now. Instead of just saying, oh, well, it sounds cool, and now I know it's not cool. Yeah. So next episode will definitely be a review of the Boundaries Cross set. We already have a few scans out, and it has been confirmed that a few key trainers will not be printed, so that's kind of disappointing. But all the other good cards, we still got Blastoise, we still got our EXs, we still got Computer Search. That's the big one that didn't leave, thankfully. And of course, there's the fun ones like Vileplume and Dusknoir and Stoutland and all those things. Well, Stoutland hasn't been confirmed, but I assume it's still going to be existing. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Later.